The universe collapses, and the echo of a name, Shibai, shreds my mind. Just a whisper. But that sound shattered everything, and now I'm about to be obliterated into cosmic dust. How did things get to this ground zero, you ask? Weeks before, my routine, the same old digital grind. Night turned into day, stuck in my room, hunting for Easter eggs in old games. Thinking real life was my biggest challenge. But something was starting to change, and I felt in my gut. In my dreams, a distant sound, a melody that didn't seem to belong here, invaded my head. An invitation or a warning. It wasn't like a regular sound, you get it? It was something that vibrated in my bones, made the air feel heavy. A deep, low note that seemed to come from outside of reality, and it scared me. I started drawing symbols, but without meaning to, like a reflex. Symbols I'd never seen before, but they felt intrinsic to my hand, and it scared me, but it also pulled me in. And it wasn't just me, because in gaming forums, in the darkest corners of the internet, people were reporting the same things I was. Strange dreams, weird sounds, meaningless drawings. An invisible connection was forming between us. Then, one night, the monitor flickered. The screen distorted, and a message appeared. It wasn't a system error. It was an ancient coded language, but my brain seemed to just get it. The message wasn't asking for help. No, it was announcing the awakens, and then a coordinate, a place I knew, but never imagined it would be the epicenter of something so huge. I decided to go because curiosity killed me, but it also saved me. I arrived there, an abandoned spot, and an earth-shattering tremor shook the ground. And the whisper, that whisper from my dreams, became deafening. It wasn't just a sound, it was a voice. And it said, clearly, almost in my mind, "Welcome. Greatness awaits you, or destruction." The voice wasn't just a sound, because it was the environment, and every particle of air vibrated with a raw energy. The ground actually cracked, and a dense, almost palpable fog began to rise, enveloped everything, and blinded me. I felt an intense tingling on my skin, as if every cell was being rewritten, and a sharp pain shot through my head. It was the pain of understanding, and with it, the perception of something immense. Suddenly, my eyes opened to a sight that wasn't of this world, because colors exploded. I saw the chakra of the entire universe, once balanced, now flowing unstably, like a river that was boiling and threatening to flood everything. It was like the world was holding its breath. You get it? This isn't a normal fluctuation, because it's a wave of chaos spreading, and I felt every fiber of my soul connected to it. My mind wasn't my own anymore, and I was invaded by rapid flashes, like someone else's memories. I saw the divine tree, pulsating uncontrollably, and heard a distant lament, a pain that was ancient. And then, she appeared in the vision, Kaguya, not the powerful figure of legends. No, it was a distorted image, eyes wide, and she was hunched in her seal, trembling with pure terror. Her fear was palpable, because it wasn't for a common enemy. It was for something far, far greater, a threat that transcended time itself. And the name Shibai echoed, not as a whisper, but like a chill down her spine. If even the rabbit goddess, the progenitor of all chakra, trembled like that, then what was I? That place, that moment, became the border between my insignificance and a power no one dared to imagine. The voice then returned, but it was different because now it spoke directly into my mind with an authority that bent space and time. The cycle is complete. Find the symbol. Ring about the final awakening. A pulse of energy, cold and hot at the same time, pierced my chest and my body felt light, my senses sharpening beyond human. The world vibrated differently, and I could see the colors of chakra all around me. The fog began to dissipate, revealing not a stone floor, but an ethereal surface, and at its center, a seal. A complex symbol that seemed to call to me, and I knew I had no choice because the game had turned real. Ida and Demon were just pawns in this game. But how? They were the next generation of threats. You get me? What could manipulate them? That ethereal symbol pulsed right in front of me, and I knew it was the only key. I felt my body magnetized because a force pulled me to touch the ancient design on the shining surface. My hand reached out slowly, and the touch was like an electric shock that coursed through every fiber of my being. The world spun violently, and it wasn't the same anymore because reality was dissolving. It wasn't a common vision. It was a total invasion of my mind. I saw chakra threads, invisible to others, but now clear to me, manipulating events and people across the universe. And at the end of those threads, It wasn't Ida or Demon, no. They were puppets, you see? And the true master had never been revealed until that moment. A colossal shadow hovered in the ether, with a millennial aura so heavy it made time itself bow before it. Kaguya's fear made total sense now because this was why. There was the proof of an Otsutsuki lineage that Boruto could never have imagined. They were the true gods, the origin of everything, and Ida and Demon were just distorted echoes of their primordial power. And me? I was right in the middle of it, a tiny dot on a cosmic chessboard, and this realization crushed me. My existence felt insignificant next to this hidden grandeur. The invasion ended suddenly, but the ancestral whisper left a new order or a curse, echoing in my soul. They see, and now you will see too. The phrase "they see, and now you will see too" hammered in my mind, and I knew it wasn't a blessing. It was a weight, a perception that linked me to a cosmic truth, but also condemned me to an incomprehensible burden. The world around me, once vibrant, now seemed hollow, like a faded painting. I felt reality stretching, and a cold urgency hit me. The chaos forming wasn't just in my dreams, it was real, and Konoha was about to feel everything. And at the epicenter of this brewing storm, like a centerpiece on the board, there was Kawaki, a kid who carried Ishiki's darkness, and who would now be confronted by a darkness even he couldn't comprehend. Kawaki was isolated, you get it? He felt the disturbance in the air, an invisible wave of distorted chakra that made him irritated. His Otsutsuki instincts, always latent, screamed a danger that went far beyond anything he had ever faced before. Konoha felt it too, and fear began to spread like a virus. Small disasters struck, large-scale chakra failures, and jutsus fell apart out of nowhere, showing that something bigger was unbalancing everything, threatening the village's very existence. He saw the panic in the civilians' eyes, and the image of Naruto, his adoptive father, helpless against an invisible threat, crushed him. Kawaki couldn't lose Naruto, not again, and that loss was the greatest risk now. His mind raced, and Kawaki knew he needed help, but not ordinary allies. He thought of those marginalized, those who guarded forbidden secrets. Orochimaru's name, a dangerous glimmer, emerged as an impossible option. But there was something else, a treacherous voice in his head, an echo of his past as Ishiki. It whispered promises of power, of a way to contain the chaos, but that meant embracing the darkness he feared most and becoming what he swore to destroy. The fate of Konoha and the world was at stake, and it wasn't a choice between right and wrong. You get it? It was a sacrifice, a terrible trade-off. He had to decide if he would cross a line, and one dared to touch to save everything. Kawaki closed his eyes, because the image of the ethereal symbol the protagonist had touched now invaded his mind too. He felt the connection to that power, and knew that to fight the gods, perhaps he had to become one. Kawaki opened his eyes, and the darkness Ishiki offered seemed like the only light in the immensity of the approaching danger. He was no longer a hesitant boy, but a vessel of cold resolve, ready to pay any price to protect what was his. Shibai's energy, once a whisper, was now a cosmic scream, distorting space-time around Konoha. Buildings swayed without physical tremors, and jutsus fell apart in the air, proving that reality bent to the will of an ancestral power. Then, you felt the connection intensify, because the symbol you touched glowed in your mind, opening a door to a chaotic perception. You didn't just see the world, but the concepts behind it. The very laws Shibai was unraveling. Kawaki, driven by a raw desperation, began to channel Ishiki's essence, not as a mimic, but as a receptor. His body glowed with dense chakra, an aura that was neither Otsutsuki nor human. It was something new and terrifying. The battle didn't start with punches or jutsus, because it was a war of ideas. Shibai didn't attack. He rewrote. Brass turned into glass. The sky fragmented like a mirror, and willpower itself seemed to lose all meaning. You realized Shibai didn't want to win, but to erase. He was deconstructing reality, reversing basic concepts like cause and effect and time. And Kaguya's panic was for this total annihilation. You get it? Kawaki roared, and his voice wasn't just sound, but a wave of intent. He wasn't fighting against Shibai's power, no. He was fighting for the existence of meaning, against the void that threatened to swallow everything. And it was pure desperation. His chakra, influenced by the symbol and Shibai's truth, revealed a path. It wasn't to stop the god, but to understand him. To anchor a new reality before the old one was completely unmade. It was a race against annihilation. Kawaki used Ishiki's essence to create a fixed point, a new foundation in the chaos. Not to defeat Shibai, but to contain the dissolution, to force the universe to accept a new truth, a new basis for existence. Reality shattered, and for an instant, you saw nothingness. But then with a snap, it recomposed different. Chakra wasn't the same anymore, because now it bent to a logic you had never imagined. It was a new paradigm. Shibai wasn't defeated, no. He became reality itself, an invisible influence that redefined existence with every pulse. The world wasn't what you knew anymore, because now it was an echo of his power, and that was your curse. The universe was now vaster, more dangerous, and the powers you knew were just fractions of something gigantic. Shibai's threat didn't end. It merely became the essence of the new world, and the journey was just beginning. So, if you like this story that redefines everything, you already know what to do. Drop a like to show some love, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next twists, and comment what you thought of this reality that got turned upside down. There are more videos waiting for you here on the channel, so check them out. Later.